that many of these entrepreneurs did not solve India's problems. They solved problems of the Western world. The Western world had high labor costs, and these entrepreneurs built companies that used labor arbitrage to get the same work done out of India at much lower costs and prices. As a result of which, the Western companies which were under profit pressures could suddenly become profitable. So these companies did not have to deal with many of India's wicked problems. So many people in India felt, that while we are solving problems of the West, India's problems continue to evade us. And we probably will never have a solution to these problems because they are so hard to solve. And they could be about, providing goods and services to, underprivileged people, solving the problem of bad infrastructure, solving the problem of primary school education, solving the problem of extreme poverty levels. So these seemed very difficult problems. But something again changed in the year 2008. So I would call that as the third phase of entrepreneurship in India. The third phase of entrepreneurship was with the setting up of a company called Flipkart. And the reason why Flipkart got set up at precisely that point of time was that many of the venture capital firms, hedge funds, had actually experienced a lot of success in China. Just to give you an idea, there was a company called Yahoo in the US, which had invested in Alibaba. And when Alibaba went public in 2014, the amount of money that Yahoo made by selling their stake in Alibaba was more than they made by selling the whole of Yahoo to Verizon. So that was the extent of the China success story. So those who had made money in China, those who had missed the China bus, all of them wanted to come to India because India was the next big macroeconomic story. So many things came together for the first time in India, including venture capital, entrepreneurial energy, and the whole network of mentors, angel investment platform. Everything came together, and for the first time, there were entrepreneurs who began solving India's problems. Flipkart tried to create India's Amazon. There were many, all these companies, subsequent startups, were inspired by these two individuals, Sachin and Binny Bansal. Sachin and Binny Bansal, I think, inspired hundreds, if not thousands, of other young Indians to take up entrepreneurship and solve many of these so-called wicked problems of India. So, for example, you had a Dunzo, you had a Big Basket, you had an InMobi. You think of any, Swiggy, Zomato, all of them began solving India's problems, and many of them went on to become actually very valuable companies. And it's a different matter that some of these companies, when they went public, actually struggled quite a bit and their valuations collapsed. That's a different story altogether. But many of these companies created valuable brands that we probably cannot live without. So, for example, all of us use Paytm or phone pay for transactions every day for making payments. All of us procure food, using Swiggy or Zomato, or grocery using Big Basket, and getting a plumber on Urban Company. So many of these companies became brands that today we cannot imagine life without. And the interesting thing about this phase of entrepreneurship was that they targeted those 100 million consumers at the top of the socio-economic pyramid.